We will call the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust March 12th, 2019 meeting to order. First item of business is to approve the minutes from February 12th, 2019.
Move approval.
A second.
Okay. Voting. It's approved unanimously. Next is the consent docket. I'll entertain a motion subject to individual considerations.
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
All right, thank you. Are there any individual considerations? Okay, seeing none, voting, it's approved unanimously. Next is the concurrence docket.
Move approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any individual considerations? Okay, voting, it's approved unanimously. Item number 5, items for individual consideration. First item is ratifying and approving addendums number 1 and 2, revising plans and specification, extending project duration, and answering questions, awarding contract to Wind Construction Company project ST0137 Chisholm Creek Treatment Plant, $8,510,014. Any comments? Questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Voting. It's approved unanimously. Item B, ratifying and approving addendum number 1, revising plans and specifications and rejecting bids, project WM0230 boat ramp and courtesy dock, East Atoka Lake Road.
You going to move this one?
Go ahead.
I'll be the second.
I'll go ahead and motion. Approve.
Any discussion? All right, voting. It's approved unanimously. Item C, professional services agreement with Genuine Parts Company, doing business as Napa Auto.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Voting. It's approved unanimously. Okay, thank you. So we have a presentation on item number D.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Lee Booth is here to present on this item.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of the Customer Service Division to talk to you about a professional services agreement that we're asking for your consideration on today. It's with TransUnion LLC. The purpose of this agreement is to assist the utility in complying with Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act of 2003, specifically with red flag rules. Since we hold citizen and customer account balances, the city is considered a creditor under this FACT Act, and City Council approved a policy for compliance with the federal identity theft provisions in October 2008. So the history of this agreement is we brought a request for qualifications to ACWIT March 27th, 2018, which was approved. We followed that with a request for proposals May 22nd, 2018, which was approved by ACWIT. We had 2 firms who submitted proposals to us. Of those, we received authorization to negotiate from ACWIT on August 14th, 2018 with TransUnion LLC. That's the agreement that you have before you. The first service considered and covered under this agreement is for identity verification. So the red flag rules requires us to prevent and mitigate identity theft, and this agreement will assist us by providing a method to verify the identity of individuals requesting service with us. It impacts roughly 40,000 customers who are either initiating or transferring service with us annually. You may know that we do not currently store full Social Security numbers and dates of birth for our customers, and that those are identifying criteria that are used in order to establish a person's identity. This service will allow us to pass that information without retaining it to TransUnion so that they can use that to identify the identity of the individual who is establishing service with us. And this will help us in eliminating fraudulent applications for service by preventing individuals from using the Social Security number of another person or a wrong Social Security number. The second service that's covered underneath this agreement is the ability for us to perform a credit check on an individual. Our base deposit amount now for a residential account is $80, and we currently allow customers to obtain a letter of credit from another utility in lieu of providing this deposit to us. So once this agreement is approved and this service is in place, we'll be able to confirm the identity and perform a credit check on an individual in real time during the move-in process while the customer is on the phone with the agent. So that will eliminate the need for the customer to then subsequently contact another utility and provide us a letter of credit in order to get their deposit waived. So this service allows us to either waive a deposit or reduce a deposit based upon an individual's credit rating. Since we do not store the date of birth and the entire Social Security number, we'll be able to send this information in a secure encrypted token to TransUnion. So the customer's on the phone with a customer service rep, setting up service, doing their move-in. We take that individual information, Social Security number, date of birth, and pass that in an encrypted token to TransUnion, and they hit their database and return to us the information that we're requesting. We'll use that information to confirm the identity and to determine if we can reduce or eliminate the deposit for that customer. We are also able to recall that token at a later date if necessary so that we can send that encrypted information on to a credit bureau or a collection agency if that's necessary. And then the final service that we're talking about is income validation. This is used, this will be used by a very small percentage of our customers, but we offer a poverty rate on solid waste services that allows individuals who are below the federal poverty level to qualify for a reduced rate in their solid waste. So we'll be able to, in our relationship with TransUnion, to be able to establish their income history to see if they meet the criteria to qualify for that lower rate. This is a substantial improvement for customers who are in this demographic because they won't have to get the form from us, get the tax returns, get all that information to us. We'll be able to handle that transaction on the phone and get them set up. It's a very small portion, again, of our customer base, but it does provide them a significant savings on their solid waste rates. So to summarize, this agreement helps us with compliance to both a federal regulation as well as a city policy. It provides us a mechanism to securely transmit personal information without retaining it. We do allow the customers the option to opt out of that credit check. They can pay the deposit if they would like to, and we can break that up over a couple of bills for them. But if they would like for us to do the check, we can do it at the time that they set up service and get the information back immediately. We anticipate the cost on this is roughly $2.12 per customer. Again, it's for a very small percentage of our customer base. It's a 5-year contract. We anticipate it'll be $85,000 a year. The project will be 6 months approximately to implement this. That is for the first phase, which will be customer assisted. Again, the CSR on the telephone will be able to walk you through that process. But we do anticipate subsequent phases where a customer will be able to self-serve during initiating their service on our website. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
I have a quick question. On the 40,000 accounts that are impacted, what is the next step with those accounts?
So those
What
are
is the direct impact to them?
The direct impact to them is a benefit. The direct impact to them is a benefit. When you call to set up service now as a new customer, we'll ask you for a letter of credit or we'll automatically bill you a deposit. During that enrollment phase, under this service, we'll be able to run your credit check, and based upon the return, we can waive the deposit so that you don't have to contact OG&E or O&G or Cox Cable to get a letter of credit. They send us letters of credits that just verify a customer's pay history for the last 12 to 24 months. And we use that to waive deposits. So this will allow us to waive a deposit without the customer having to take another step.
Okay, so these aren't current accounts and current customers?
They're not.
Okay.
Well, we're including in that 40,000 customers who are transferring. So we do have some existing customers that we have the ability to do the identity verification on when they're moving from one property to the next. But the largest benefit for this is to the new customer who's initiating service for the first time.
And what happens if their identity doesn't check out?
If their identity doesn't check out, we're,
So,
they asked the big
Brent
hitter for
Weingart,
that one.
Assistant Director. So under the current rules that we're under the federal government, we now are responsible for doing due diligence to establish the true identity of a person if we're going to hold a credit balance on that person, and every customer of the utility has a credit balance. So we're under the red flag rule. We work with the municipal comptroller's office and finance department to set the policy up. Now, in order for us to transfer past due balances that turn over to credit agencies for collection, we have to assure that we've checked the identity, we've done our due diligence, so we're turning over valid accounts. So it's now a part of the process that we have to do this. If a person has fraudulently provided information, we can't establish an account. We have to, right now, people do that. Okay? So this will cause our account establishment process to be more valid and allow us to establish accounts. That's a byproduct of that, but that's a requirement of the red flag rule. By us to hold those balances, we have to follow those federal, it's called 31 USC. We have to follow those rules to do that because we're considered to be a creditor.
Okay. I'm just wondering where this 40,000 number came.
So every month, every day, we're getting accounts, people coming in and wanting to establish an account with us. The 40,000 is an estimate of the annual total number of customers that will move within the system, move from Village or War Acres to Oklahoma City, move from Oklahoma City to War Acres or Village, move from the counties, move from other cities into our service area, because we provide retail service to Oklahoma City, Village, and War Acres. So anyone that is inbound to our service area would call and establish service, and that's the 40,000. So it's the total of all of them for a year.
Okay.
So I apologize for not having the answer
No,
for
you're
you.
fine.
That's largely a policy question that we'll deal with during the implementation. What are the steps for people who don't qualify or who give us information that's not validated by TransUnion?
Thank you.
I have a question. Are we currently able to accept new customers or change service by telephone?
They call us, and it is customer service. It's customer assisted, right? So you cannot move into a property without being assisted by a CSR.
So you're not required, for example, to have access to a computer, for example?
That's
Set-
correct. You can do
Yeah.
it via the telephone, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll just mention I've received a couple of comments that people had difficulties either establishing their account, maybe changing their bank account, or a variety of issues by telephone. Any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to accept this?
Yes, I'd move approval of the professional services agreement with TransUnion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Voting, it's approved unanimously. Okay. Any items from trustees? Jessica?
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, none from me. General manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Believe it or not, we had to turn the pumps off from Atoka to Draper because the lake's overfull.
Great.
I didn't think I'd ever say that, but I just did. All the other lakes are either full or above full, so Mother Nature's been kind. It's good news. Bad news is we're not selling as much water, but we probably will. I imagine it'll start warming up and we'll sell more water. So I have a really neat announcement. Mayor signed a proclamation for next week, 18th through 22nd, for Fix a Leak Week. So we waste about 1 trillion gallons a year in water throughout the U.S. from water leaks. People don't realize how much water passes through a dripping faucet. So if your faucet's just dripping, that's about 1/4 gallon a minute, and there's 1,440 minutes a day, times 30 days, and it can be a lot of water throughout the year. So what we've done through our water conservation group is we've developed an educational program where we engage the elementary school kids. They're going to do a poster contest, and the winner from each grade will come to the mayor, and he'll congratulate them, and they'll be the winners from K through 6th grade. So I think the kindergartners and first graders will be kind of interesting, right? But what I've seen throughout my career is some of these kids are really, really talented and really, really creative, so I can't wait to see what they come up with. So that'll be next month, and then we'll announce our winners accordingly.
Great.
So that's all I have, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Are there any citizens to be heard? Okay. With that, we're adjourned.